Barely. All right.
I'm not gonna get it.
Oh, motherfucker.
Are you guys gonna wear the headphones all the time?
Yeah. I can't see. I'm trying to minimize it. Up all You ready?
Yeah.
Live right now.
All right. And we're live from Central Standard. What's going on?
This is kind of loud in my ears.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm telling you, there's a lot of background noise.
Yeah. Well, I'm not too worried about that because I can hear my voice over it.
Right. Man, so what do you think about this beer? What do you think about
Something
it?
different.
It's something different. That's a fact.
This shit is made here. That's the thing, like made here right in the middle of Wichita, but it's good.
It's super good. It's
This is not even the type of beer that you're into.
It's easy at first, and then it comes on strong afterwards.
This is the kind of beer I enjoy. You're the Budweiser type, so it's
Yeah. I think it's just because I don't know any different.
Well, when I go out to bars, I don't go, give me the darkest shit you got. I'm still ordering Budweiser or Bud Light.
Right.
But it's because it's something I'm so used to.
Right.
You don't go to a place.
I'm making a killing on these things too, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I mean, they just got me for $14.
Well, I know.
I wasn't about to drink one and then have to go up there later.
Right.
Fuck that! I ain't waiting in line.
Right.
Give me two, because this motherfucker. Yeah.
Right.
This motherfucker's gonna be gone in no time.
Where'd Jessica go? She's around here somewhere.
We're here at Central Standard Brewing, CSB, doing a podcast for the comedy show that's going on tonight.
You're gonna start here in about half an hour. Got let's see, Dan the Man, JP, Megan Welch, Jessica K, Travis Cagle, and Blake Hamilton.
We're going to try to podcast through the whole thing.
Kind of just depends on how it works out with the sound.
Maybe turn down our levels a little bit so we don't give away their shit. And if you guys want to check it out, you can come down here at CSB.
Yeah, it's free to get in, and it's a good time. This it's the perfect day to be outside. There's no wind.
We're doing an outside podcast. I think this is our first.
Is this the first time?
This is our first
and we're on location somewhere other than Bourbon Street. So yeah, it's kind of a big deal for. It's kind of a big deal for us. So.
You guys have to get them to spell too.
Yeah.
CSB.
Yeah.
Give us a case of beer.
Yeah. Right. Like it wouldn't be a case. It'd be a couple of them jugs.
A fucking gallon.
Right.
That's what Donald Berry would do.
This location is weird.
We're right in the neighborhood.
It is really like
this is a house right here. I can spit on that house.
They have a neighbor.
They just had somebody mowing the lawn over here.
Right, out here mowing the grass and shit.
We're gonna eventually get some comedians on here to talk about pretty much whatever.
Lord knows what.
Yeah.
Well, you start picking a comedian's brain, you never know what you're gonna get, and that's where the big inspiration comes behind these podcasts. Because I think every podcast I listen to is a comedian. Like listen, like I know you listen to a lot of MMA podcasts. I'm sure,
but I only listen to one, and there's a comedian with me.
Yeah,
it's a comedian and a fighter. But
who's Brennan's comedian?
Brian Callen.
Yeah, Brian Callen. He's a funny motherfucker, man.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot fuck with him. He is fucking hilarious.
He doesn't get enough credit.
Do you think one of you should go get her?
Huh?
She's not just gonna walk up over here.
Right. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I don't know where she went.
She's right over there sitting down.
Oh, she is?
Yep.
She took off running. She got scared.
Right.
She looks like a little girl and you look like a pedo.
Oh, is that how it goes?
Dude, I'm super into this beer. I could mess around with them levels if I need to.
Yeah, you might want to a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I think this one's picking you up too. because you can cover that up, and she could probably still hear her.
Can we still hear you?
I can't hear myself.
I can hear her.
It's picking her up a little bit.
Yeah.
But,
It was really.
oh yeah. You're definitely gonna have to adjust the levels on
Give me a
that.
second.
Yeah. No kidding.
I am doing very well.
They're getting better. Yeah, that's a little better. We just need to.
There's definitely a different crowd than Bourbon Street.
Yeah. It's there's a lot of what? A lot of snooty over here. Yeah, I think we just don't fit in with the hipsters and whatever you got going on around here.
I honestly haven't seen one hipster. They're all like
I was getting some weird vibes
retired.
in there.
Yeah. But little do they know we're talking about them behind their back.
Right. Nobody will.
And they're probably like most of them saw our flyers and they're probably like listening to us right
And
now.
they're like, these guys are terrible. Like they have said
They
nothing.
probably got on YouTube and popped us up immediately and just like
no.
some motherfuckers are talking about us and they're 20 feet away.
Right. Like we're never listening to them. We're gonna throw away all their little stupid flyers that they made.
We're gonna have reviews tomorrow and just like you guys
Right. We're getting no star ratings.
go get your Budweiser and get the fuck out of here, you fucking redneck.
Right. We need to.
That is, what's wrong with that? And you know what?
Somebody needs to come and visit.
Everybody needs.
You're the one who talked to the guy. I haven't talked to him once.
Right.
Just need to go grab him.
Right. Let's see what's up.
Right behind that brown pole.
We'll continue some conversation.
Right.
I probably go to here.
Hopefully.
You go stand at Kevin Berry's table.
I know that they're not just gonna walk up on us.
Yeah, I know. It's almost rude.
It is. Interrupting.
I almost forgot to make these at work, and then the last 5 minutes I was there, I went ahead and just.
I used to make business cards and logos in high school. Like that was all I did in all my AP classes.
I just got super bored. I did not work, but
Man, I can't remember this guy's name. He's the only one I can't remember.
Hook him up with those microphones. You can have the end over here.
Okay.
You want the headphones?
Oh wait.
Yeah, sure.
We just started using headphones because we find it eliminates crosstalk because everybody can hear themselves a little bit better. We have a tendency to,
That makes sense.
we'll be drinking and stuff and taking shots before you know it. These two are talking and we're talking. You don't know what the hell is going on. You can't make sense of anything.
Yeah.
Backwards and
what are
forwards.
you
I
drinking over
normally
there?
have no problem. The red cicada.
Red cicada.
It's like a.
I feel like you're drinking like fruit punch almost.
It's almost
or
like
vodka.
it's almost like a pink lemonade beer, but
Yeah.
like a really beery beer.
Right.
This is like
It's very sour.
Right.
I love sour beer.
I'm super interested. I thought you were drinking a red beer.
Would you like to try it?
I would.
I would like to try it.
All right, sure.
So we got Blake Hamilton sitting down with us, and we went and seen you. I don't know if you remember. We were a little fucked up, but we went and seen you at the Looney Bin on 420.
Yes.
And man, you were fucking fun. All of you guys had a good set. There was nobody that didn't have a good set that night.
Thank you.
I laughed my ass off, and I was really happy to hear from Travis when he asked if we wanted to come out here and do this. This is a pretty big opportunity for us because
Helps you get out there.
helps us get out there, and eventually we run out of stuff to talk about. We're
Oh, God.
nobody important, you know what I mean?
we got the same
But see,
problem.
you guys are comedians. You guys have shit to talk about all the time. You are never gonna run out of stuff to talk about.
That's actually the thing is I'm like, why don't we more often do the thing where like we just sit down and talk, because man, lining up interviews is tough.
Right.
And like we're on the brink of running out of episodes. Like every now and then we get real close where it's like, man, we got to record one this week, otherwise next week we're out. And man, why don't we just fucking sit down and have a chat
Right.
like, for an hour? I'm sure you guys think this is boring, but whatever.
No, dude. This is the most fun I've ever had.
everything.
This is super intrigued. This is getting comedians on
the
the
most
podcast.
fun you've ever had. You're not living that very exciting for life.
No, not. I'm just saying, as far as the podcast
Yeah,
is concerned, as far as what we want to do for the podcast, this is This is exactly what we want.
This isn't actually our first one with a comedian, but
that one said?
Did you try it?
It was pretty good.
All right, I gotta try it.
Gotta
All right,
try
go for it,
It's
man.
something else. Yeah.
Yeah, this whole type of beer is a little new to me.
He's not a big connoisseur.
No, I
He's
drink.
a Budweiser,
Like I drink Budweiser.
only.
Yeah.
The
So-
typical American.
So how long you been? How long you been writing jokes? How long you been in comedy?
Coming right up on a year.
Right up on a year.
Yeah, I think July or August will be a year from the first time I got up at the open mic in Winnipeg.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did it set off from there? Just like they asked you back, or you just kept doing open mics?
Honestly, the thing is, I run with all these comics, and I wasn't doing it. And I think they were being facetious. I don't think anybody really wanted me on stage, but they'd tell me, like, oh, when are you going to get on stage? And then I did it at the open mic.
Just kind of, what is going on here?
Something happened.
Well, I mean, I can still hear you. So
Oh, there we go.
There it goes.
Okay, so it must be just our
Right.
icon.
Something.
Anyway,
It's in that one right there. Jeez.
so I got up there and I just kept doing open mics, and then I started doing a few shows. I get a little involved. I haven't like put any shows on or whatever,
Right.
but that was like going on, and I got put on a few, and then I started dating Megan, which is
Yeah.
really cool and
Right.
awesome. I do feel a little bad sometimes because I feel like she puts me on a lot of shows. And she seems to genuinely think I deserve it, but I'm always not quite sure.
You're a little skeptical on.
Yeah, I'm wondering if like I'm not,
It's
sort of
easier for other people to
the
see the talent
beneficiary.
in you. You know, it's hard to see it in yourself sometimes.
Oh, I never think I'm funny.
Really?
Oh my god, dude! I get on stage. I'll tell you, when I have a really good set, when I get on stage and I kill, I never think, "Man, Blake, you're funny." I think, "All right, somehow you made those people laugh." Like
Yeah.
to me, it's only mechanical. Like,
Right.
'cause I don't feel funny. I don't do my jokes, and I'm like, it's always. I think other people would laugh at that. I never like find it funny to myself, honestly, because like I guess maybe if you come up with something, it's hard to surprise is a key to humor, right? So it's hard to like get that on yourself. But no, man, I'll do really well on stage, and then I'm like, Blake, you're not funny. You're really lucky that all those people thought you were for some reason right now. But
It's kind of weird how everybody's perspective is different. Just depending on what side of the fence you're standing on depends on how green the grass is. You know.
oh, for sure.
So
well, I mean, from our opinion, like when we saw you, we were like, man, we hear all these comedians that are out there. Like the only comedians I've really ever heard of are famous. Like everybody's heard of them.
Sure.
So when I go to a comedy show, I don't know what to expect. Like especially local here, I go here and I go, all right, well, it's just a bunch of local comics, and I had my ass. I don't laugh.
He doesn't.
he's
He's
pretty
not a
straight
laugher.
faced. He's pretty straight faced.
And he was laughing.
I was laughing.
We were
I mean, it was just completely different than what I thought it was going to be. The outcome was way better.
because since I've become obsessed with comedy since I got involved with podcasting, because I got involved podcasting with him not that long ago, so therefore I started listening to a bunch, and all the ones that I listen to are all comedians. So I have like this total different outlook and view on comedy totally. Like I never realized that comedy was an entire world, like an entire community. Like it's a huge thing, like it's a huge organism.
Yeah, and it's
you don't realize that until you actually, because I feel like I know I don't know shit, but I feel like I know a bunch about like comedians and comedy just because for 8, 10, 12 hours a day, I'll listen to, to really respected comedians, talk and stuff, so it's just a different look on things. But
that's true. It's a lot different too in that I like comic podcasts because it's always really different to hear somebody being like genuinely funny
Right.
in an obviously unscripted conversation.
yeah.
Like that's, to me, that's the true difference, and that's the true goal. Man, like I know I'm here in the capacity of being a comic. I'm about to go on stage. That's the only reason you guys are talking to me. I'm pretty sure I'm not funny at all right now. Like the funniest thing I can do is contradict my own, just be like, I'm not funny.
like I'm a comedian, I'm not funny at all.
It's like, oh, haha. But yeah, you're right, man.
Well, I mean, we appreciate you
Taking
sitting
the
down,
time,
just like
yeah.
coming over here and just like
Like I said, 'cause for
making
us,
a point to be on our podcast.
It's a welcome distraction.
Yeah.
Man, for the past 5 minutes, I've been calm and I've been breathing normal. I haven't had that in like an hour and a half.
And see, and I'm nervous. I was nervous to go up and ask because like I haven't met any of you guys, and every single one of you, I have questions. I have a lot of questions for every single one of you. So, I didn't even know who to ask, or if someone's like, well, you never know who's in their zone. Not really wanting to talk or do what. So yeah, I definitely appreciate you being so open, just coming over and wanting to bullshit. Where do you get a lot of your inspiration for your jokes? You said you've been doing this when everybody says you should get on stage or whatever. Where do you get the fuel to write from?
So everybody will tell you, oh, I write jokes from my life and I take from my experiences. And I don't know if everybody, for this part is true for everybody as well, but personally, it comes from my life and my experiences, but maybe I'm somebody who has it a bit too much together, like my life isn't quite rough enough to be a comic, because all my stuff always comes from, here's a wacky situation in my life.
Right.
And then I imagine, like, what's 5 times wackier than that? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like there's a joke I do where I got touched at church.
Right.
And that's a little dark. And honestly, I never got touched or anything.
Right.
There was like one time when I was like talking about something I was doing in church camp in high school, and somebody was like, "Ooh, that's a weird thing, man. Was your pastor trying to cop a feel?" And I was like, "Okay, yeah,
that's definitely basis for a joke."
There was just like an innocent thing that somebody else heard it and was like, "Oh, well, that," and I was like, "Okay, so."
So somebody's smart ass remark or joke to you turned it into a whole story that you could tell to everybody else.
Sure.
Yeah.
And make myself a real liar. But yeah, a lot of it is, and that's where a lot of it comes from too. Is like when I think something's rough or some part of my life is hard for me. Then I've always been like, well, you could have it worse. Right. Imagine this. I'm getting sued right now because I dipped out on a contract with a gym right now.
Oh,
and
really?
I'm probably out $200.
Right.
That's the end of the story. But when I get down about that, I try to be like, well, think about it this way, man. Like, you could be in some, like, you could be out $3,000 or something.
Right.
So imagine what number would totally ruin your life. Or maybe you could be up against something, like in the news, they've been talking about debtors' prisons and how they're technically illegal, but people get locked up for not paying stuff. And I was like, like you could be in a situation where you'd be out lots of money and maybe go to jail several times.
You couldn't pay your
Yes.
Yeah.
And that kind of and that's how that can sort of lead in. That might be a situation where a joke could come out of.
Right.
As I could say, one time I was getting sued and shit was really on the line for me, and there might be a joke that comes out of there. But there's probably never a joke about one time I stopped going to a gym 6 months before I told him I would, so I had to pay him like $500 a year later.
Right.
It's not but it also helps me remind myself that oh yeah, Blake, that isn't really that bad.
Right.
Because your life isn't actually even good enough to write a basic joke off of. So, it can't be that rough. You got a job and a roof and you're always eating.
Right. So tell us about your podcast.
Okay, so the Midwest Digest, we basically we do conversational interviews sort of like this, like Marin, or any of those podcasts that people probably listen to, and we just try to pick up people, musicians, comics, artists, just movers and shakers, small business owners around town,
right?
Maybe a couple national acts when they come through or whatever, and we just usually talk to them basically about whatever their thing is,
right?
And really the only goal we have is just, right now we're pretty local focused, and right now our goal is people within 100 miles should be able to tune into us, and at least once a month or so they should listen to something that they didn't know they had an interest in, and now feel like they have a basic level of knowledge in that interest. Like what I don't want to just talk to Dom Canara, who runs Make ICT, so that all the kids who are already down there every week, and all the, I don't want to talk to Seth Eder so all the programmers can listen to it. I want to talk to these people so people can be like, oh, I don't know what that's all about. And then they listen to somebody who's in that world,
Right.
and then they can be like,
Now
you know,
they're totally
and then,
in touch with it.
see, like that'd be a greater goal is if instead of a bunch of coders listening to us talk to a coder, we talk to a coder, and maybe just 2 people hear it, but then they're like, oh man, you know, like that is really, and then they spend 2 hours on YouTube, and then 2 weeks later they're down at Open Hack Night or Level Up Code Academy or whatever, interacting with that guy who we talk to.
Right.
And, you know, maybe they figure out something that in that situation could become a career.
Right. It's just a snowball effect. You just never know the information that you're going to put out here. And that's what's awesome about the podcast. You can just put whatever you want out there. You know, you can just put out your own content and nobody can regulate it. And you can change it on the whim. You just put out the content that you want to put out.
Yeah.
And it can't be regulated.
Well, and the thing is, okay, everybody says, what's wrong with Wichita? There's nothing to do. And that's our whole thing is like, you know what? There is nothing to do in Wichita if you don't know what's going on. That's the problem. You know, you're right. In LA, it's impossible not to have stuff thrown in your face. If you want something to do, you got it. In Wichita, you have to look a little bit.
Right.
And we're just trying to make that search a little bit easier.
That's kind of how we are. We're just trying to boost local everything. You know,
exactly.
We're here right now. Local place, local beers. They're doing their own shit here. Local comedians.
About all their beers.
Yeah. And everything. We just every time we talk to somebody, it's mainly like we're trying to explain our podcast as a local thing to try to get them to be like, you know what, it's something to put our name out there.
Okay, I'm gonna go meditate and get my head right to do this.
How's everybody find you? If they wanna follow you?
Oh shit!
You got anything you want to plug or anything real quick?
Blake's Jokes is a pretty inactive so far, but up and coming Facebook fan page that I have. Blake Hamilton is my name. You can look me up on Facebook. That's a little creepy, but I post about shows. And, you know, you can follow the Midwest Digest on Facebook, and you can look up the Midwest Digest on iTunes or Stitcher or whatever. We're hosted on Podomatic, so if you're old school and you want to go to podomatic.com and look for us, that's cool too.
Right. Well, maybe one day we'll be cool enough we can come and hang out with you guys and see what's up.
Hey, we'd love to have you.
All right.
Thanks a bunch, guys.
Thanks, Blake. I like it. So what's going on, man?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, can you hear yourself?
Some boomers. These are nice.
Yeah. Well, it helps eliminate with crosstalk.
This is our first time actually using these ads for the podcast because we finally got our hookups.
We got some,
so it's working out good. It's so to make sure that we don't sit here and talk to.
Yeah, after a few shots, everybody's, and you know, it's just a bunch of chaos. You know what's, man, we really appreciate the invite. When you called me or when you texted me and asked me if we was interested, man, I was super stoked. I very, very honored to get the invite to come out and just be a part of what's going on because this is what we want to do. So to get invited to do this is really cool.
No, man, it's an exciting thing. I've never done a pre-show type of recording, and I know I think it was you. One of you guys found me on Twitter, and then you came to the 420 show, and then it was just like, well, if we're gonna do something, maybe we could do something cool, something big.
Yeah, not only to come to your local comedy show, but to come to a local business is what we like. That's what we're striving for, just to get out there. So
this is by far one of my favorite places. Like, it's only open Thursday through Sunday,
right?
And it's awesome. Like, they, you know how barbecue places will sell out of ribs or they'll be out of meat for a night. These guys will run out of beer,
right? Because they're just slinging so much of that shit. And this is I'm definitely expanding my horizons because, like we've all been saying, I drink Budweiser, and I'll settle for a light beer, maybe, but I drink Budweiser. So this is definitely me getting a little outside of my comfort zone. So it's always good to expand out and try new things. Yeah.
And it took me a year to really get going on it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a bit of a smoker. I'm not really a drinker.
That's me too. I'm the same way. He's the drinker, not the smoker.
Okay. So, but one of my friends was just all about it, and I had just moved up here, so I didn't have any other friends or anything. So I had to be about what he was about.
Right. You adapted.
And, yeah. And it went from I wouldn't drink beer, period, to now I'm a beer snob.
Right.
It's
like Budweiser. I ain't drinking that shit.
If I have to, I guess I'll choke down a Michelob Ultra. But
yeah, my grandma drinks those.
So I don't know. This is fun for me too because
Yeah.
this is my first podcast experience.
Oh,
and
really?
all that.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Are we on the monitor? Are we on
Yeah. We just
Oh, okay.
if you leave the video up, everybody just constantly worried about what they look like.
With my
Like,
hair
I kept
tied.
randomly looking like, oh, where do I look?
Right.
Where do I look?
Well, I hate seeing myself, and I've never listened to a podcast we've done. I hate my voice. I hate seeing myself. I don't like it at all. So I don't
That's how I am.
I don't even like to see it up there.
That's how I am.
Like I will never listen to this podcast again. This will be my memory, and then that'll be that. It'll be the end of it. I'll look on YouTube and see how many views we get, but that's about the end of it.
Yeah, we try to kind of boost this. Like we have the Facebook page, then our personal Facebook pages, then our Twitter pages, then our YouTube accounts, and then our Instagram, blah blah.
Is this going to be simulcast on ESPNU?
I think it plays in Thailand, but on like black and white.
Hey, do you want to do a little time? That was a good warm up.
Hey, he's got it in him to write jokes.
I did 2 minutes one time. I was at Cap City in Austin, Texas,
Yeah.
and my buddy was a host up there, and I just went there. He was my boss, and
Yeah.
I just went there and I was getting drunk, and then out of nowhere he just called me up, and I was just like, he goes, "If you want your raise, you'll be up here," pretty much, and I was just like, all right.
Did you get the raise?
I didn't.
But you did you did 2 minutes?
2 minutes, yeah.
That's
It was nothing.
Well, two things about that. One, that's a really weird kind of karaoke type of a situation.
Yeah, that's exactly what
that
it was.
happens at open mics every now and then. Somebody's like,
Hey,
"Oh,
I heard
hey,"
you made
yeah.
me laugh earlier because you said something funny when we were waiting for a drink. So
Yeah.
here, you try it.
Yeah, I was like, God damn it. Like, I was just trying to hang out, have a few drinks, maybe a couple laughs, and then I was up there looking like a idiot.
But the other thing, though, 2 minutes, like, it's something about the stage. There's like this
You can
weird,
live for that long.
there's like a weird space-time continuum. Like whenever you like step on stage, like you feel like you're there for like maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah, I
and
felt
you've
I
been
was
up
up
there
there
for
forever.
10.
Right.
Like
Wow.
it's weird. It gets really distorted.
That 2 minutes felt like forever. Like I had a little bit of sweat. I wasn't too nervous because right before I walked up there, I usually get a glass of tequila about this big.
Now
And then I just
drink for the
then I
night.
just sip on it all night. And then so right before I went up there, I just like downed it, and then I got up there and I was like still trying to get my composure. And then once they started talking is when they started my 2 minutes, and I was just like, they were laughing, but they might have been laughing at me, not with me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you've been here for 2 years, you said?
Yeah. I moved up here from Tulsa, Oklahoma, and that's originally where I'm from. I grew up there and everything. But yeah, work brought me up here, and eventually comedy is what kind of got me to plant some roots here. Like I met people at the open mics, Jessica,
Yeah.
who I think you guys are going to talk to after.
Yeah,
the show.
definitely. I'm really want to talk to her.
Yeah, but honestly, Jessica's the shit. She kind of introduced me to
And I've kind of
everybody
found
I
that she's
know.
behind anything that's going on comedy wise here in town. She's kind of behind it in some way. It
We,
seems like.
Yeah, we set up WichitaComedy.com. I say we, but honestly, I just threw some money at her. Like,
Right.
I paid for like a month of the website domain name or something like that.
Right.
But we try to produce shows together, and we do. She does a lot of stuff at Barley Corns. And,
Yeah.
Kirby's Beer Store. There's
Yeah.
open mics there all the time.
I think isn't there one at Barleycorn's like on the 10th or something? Isn't there one coming up? Something over there.
I can't remember the exact days, but it's going to be back to back. Like it's going to be Kirby's on Monday and then Barleycorns on Tuesday.
And do you get involved like all these shows? Are you involved? Are you going to be involved with all that? Do you get on stage just as much as you possibly can, or do you pick and choose, or?
Well, it's you
depends on
kind
the
of
night,
pick
right?
and choose, and sometimes it depends on who you have together, or we all the comics are fairly we're cool with each other, we like each other, but we know at the same time we can't just work with the same two people.
You can't just the five or six of you can't just go around and do
Otherwise, that's like a carbon copy, or
a little monopoly going on.
Yeah,
you
there
got to
has-
break it up.
Well, there just has to be something different for the
The
I
audience.
guess for the audience,
Yeah.
yeah, just so that way there's a reason for them to come out
You
and
can outreach
feel like
everybody.
something's happened.
Yeah.
It's one thing to repeat jokes sometimes, and something that a lot of people don't really realize is for a comedian, it's kind of like if you're in a band, you play songs all the time because you want people to hear your songs.
Right.
And people think doing comedy, like, you only get to say a joke like 2 or 3 times, and it's like, no, bullshit.
Right.
That was a really good joke.
Right. Yeah. And if you get like,
There might be 2 people who have never seen me before, and like, I'm not gonna rob them with that.
no kidding. Well, like, you know who Bert Kreischer is? He's a
Yes.
comedian. Like every time he goes on stage, he tells his machine story. Every time about how his dealing with the Russian mob and all that, and his machine story. It's like he's famous for that story, that joke. And every time he does a set, he tells that story.
Yeah.
And he's been telling that story forever.
Well, it's almost like, think about Little Wing, like the guitar solo
Yeah.
and that Jimmy and the like. What if Jimmy just didn't play that part of the solo anymore? That's
Right.
like the calling card.
Yeah.
That's the part where it's like, oh, I think he's gonna stop, and then he just brings it back in, and you're like, oh, and it like hits you in the
Right.
stomach,
That's a good way to put it. That's a good analogy.
right?
Well,
Like how long do you plan on?
Oh,
You being called upon?
Yeah, I think it's about time to get the
Well,
old
do you got
show
anything you want to
rolling.
plug? How can everybody find out about you?
I'm on Facebook. You can check me out, Travis Cagle. It's Cagle. Check out facebook.com/Travis Cagle Comedy. And also on Twitter and Instagram @trav_is_funny. It's like a pun, like my
Right.
name.
Oh,
So,
that's funny.
so that's fun. But yeah, honestly, just that, and yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, hopefully after this we'll have some time. We might be able to maybe get you on again, but afterwards
I
definitely.
think we'll be able to
Right.
get us and Jess. And,
Yeah. Let Jess and
Okay. Yeah.
but
That's funny.
yeah, let
Blake
we just-
Hamilton, ladies and
we
gentlemen.
just played charades there for a second.
right.
Yeah.
No. Category is.
Yeah.
I think there's a kid trapped in a well.
That's
I'm
not- that's
I'm
what I
not
got out of it.
positive.
What is it last?
Yeah.
But,
I'm gonna jump off
Yeah.
here, but yeah, I'm super psyched that you guys were able to show up, and this was a good kind of pilot. Like now I think you guys and me both, I think we know, like, okay, we need to start this like 40 minutes earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of it's just work.
Yeah.
Everybody, we're not cool enough to do podcasts and comedy for a living, so
Yeah.
we gotta.
Eventually.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well,
All
I will
right.
talk at you after
All
the
right,
show.
that'll work. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
All right, guys. Get down here to Central. Oh,
No, you're good. You'll still hear us.
get down to Central Standard Brewery. It's free. They're getting ready to start here in a little bit. Come and hang out. We got this big old Jenga thing over
Do we
there.
leave this set up?
We're going to take a picture right now.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I mean, well, we can stop the live feed.
Just stop the live feed. Just leave everything to
All right.
stop
Well,
live feed.
this is Main Stage Podcast. If we don't see you after the show,
We'll see you after the show. They wanted to do a post podcast.
all right.
We got to talk to a couple more.
Well, let's listen to some comedy.
All right, we'll see you.